Near the Wild with Matt Becker, John Norris, and Ggreg Chaille.
Yeah, no, it's good. And the thing is, like I said, 2 years later, we ran into them.
Hello?
They remember Becky and I.
Hello.
And they hung out with us, and we sat and drank with them. And then
Hello?
Wait, are there? Is your twin? Is your twin there?
Yeah, and it was one of those things where you go, that's actually the culture we go down to, is the fact that we don't care they're prostitutes or whatever. The point was, is 2 years later, they're like, Becky. I'm like, oh my God.
There.
Let me guess. You were listening to Doug Stanhope's audiobook, Digging Up Mother.
Yes, I was.
Yeah, that was when you were down here in Bisbee, and you were part of the audible version of Doug's book,
which is an amazing way to do an audiobook.
Yeah,
it's like, where are they now?
Yeah, we're talking about the next book he just finished. He submitted it for the second round, and he'll get some notes back. But it's for all intents and purposes, it's done. And now he didn't just start. He's been thinking about the audiobook and how he's going to attack this one for a long time now. Based on that first one where he had people like yourself, people that were in the book, come in, sit down, and podcast style talk about their part in the book or their part in that period of time of knowing Doug. So, and this one's different. I want to put a tour around it.
I found a packet of stuff that was all in one place. That was amazing. And it has in it, remember the monkey yells in the bag?
The what?
When Doug puts his bag on the Sansa airline.
Oh, yeah.
But it starts screaming like a real monkey. Uh-huh. And the guy he just rolls his eyes and moves the bag over like he's not going to look in it if there's a real monkey. I found the tag for that. I found G-Force Jesus, the packaging for that, because you can't ever find it anywhere now. Uh-huh. I found the original Sansa flight where we thought we were going to die going to Tamarindo.
Oh, yeah. I've been on that flight separately.
And I found the Pilsen. Yeah. I found that. No, this was a really bad one. This was, that's what I was laughing about, was they're going, oh, no, we talked about they're all bad. No, this was really bad.
Sure.
This was we kept going out to the ocean out of gas. And we're like, okay, well, see, because that's the thing is the other ones, it's bad, it's windy. This was, we're going into the ocean. There is no, safety thing. Not like we're going to crash land. We're going to drown.
It's funny because it's like in the old days, barnstormers and guys who just kind of bought a plane and figured it out. They would have to find their way around sometimes by getting low enough to see the road. But if you're looking for a gas station out in the Pacific Ocean, I don't know, man. I just think it's going to happen.
It had no happy ending, really, because the farther we went out, the other thing is we were laughing because the farther we went out, the more we go, we're pretty good swimmers, but we're beyond that point now.
It turns out you could be a horrible swimmer and still have the same chances. Once you crash land one of those small 2-engine prop planes into the...
No, 1 engine.
You dump that into the drink. It's not going to matter whether you swim or not.
No, that was it. You're just pretty much the wreckage is the only way they find you. Hope your bags float.
Oh, there'll be a stain on the surface. I can guarantee that.
Yeah, pee stain.
So you found all this stuff. You're going through a bunch of stuff. You're doing a little house cleaning.
Yep, flipping it. And but then I found the label, the label from the Pilsen bottle with Mary Riley on it. It was one of the original juggies.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
We just met one of the juggies back about a year ago at where were we? We were in old part of Vegas, downtown Vegas, and she brought one of the bottles, a bottle of juggy beer.
They had that, huh?
Yeah. Well, there's a label.
Yeah, that's it. Remember, that's just soak it up.
Great.
Cool.
So
how's your life? What's new?
It's good. Doug and Bingo went on vacation, and that kind of created a small little staycation for us. So been trying to take advantage of that. We went out to Patagonia. It's about hour and 45 from Bisbee. Little tiny little place. They have the sputterings of trying to be an artist community, but unfortunately,
Is that the one that won?
Patagonia?
Which one won the USA contest this time?
Oh, I don't know. I got links on that, but I'm content.
Yeah,
with the one win.
But Bisbee took second. I think Patagonia won.
Well, it hasn't changed much of Patagonia. There are more closed "Lost Our Lease" signs on the art galleries than they are open. But I mean,
size is,
it's
how big is the town?
It's a town. It's a small town. It's got really just one main drag that is a highway, similar to Bisbee. But this is one side is businesses and homes, and the other side is businesses and homes. It's not like the highway runs adjacent to Tombstone Canyon in Bisbee. It's separated by the hill. But there, it's slower out there. It's beautiful, and there's a bunch of birding. So we've been trying to do more birding stuff. And Patagonia is it, man. And next time you come out here, we should definitely head out there because it's June now, so it's a little hot for the tourists to be flocking. But there's still plenty to do. It's just weird hours, like "Yay, we're closed" is the sign, or
we need service. Ring the bell.
Yeah,
I'll get up.
Yeah, so the honor box for the dozen eggs. Yeah, but it's a nice little town, quiet, and I mean there's a tourist there's definitely a tourist component to it. But I'd never been out there, and it's right off the I believe the 92 coming from Sierra Vista going up to the 10. So it's basically on the way. And another place I found out, because I know you're going to be out here soon, is the Karshner Caverns. And we definitely have to do that. And we were going to go today, but decided not to because it's rather expensive to go into the cavern. But the cavern is fucking crazy. There's like an airlock to get into it, and then there's a misting to keep any dust from the outside from getting on the. I mean, it's fucking
wow.
Yeah, it's Iron Mountain type stuff.
It's a meth lab.
Exactly. But it's a state park. It's been one since I think 88, and the two caves there are fucking immaculate. And it's because they kept it a secret for 4 years. This couple found it on the people who owned it aren't the ones who discovered the cave. This crazy couple found this cave and they didn't tell anyone and kept going back. And this is when there was no airlock. They were squeezing in. They found this huge limestone cavern. And I'm amazed that more people don't know about this. Maybe they do. I've never been there, but we drive by it every time we go to Tucson.
Do you not have a state park pass?
No. I'm sure they have them out here.
Federal one? They got the federal one. You see, it's $10 if you're 62. They're going to change it now, finally. But it's $10 for a lifetime pass if you're 62. So we got to find somebody with the same name with 62. I'm just going to look on Facebook. I'm sure they're on there.
Craigslist, gigs, under gigs. But yeah, Karshner Caverns is another one. I think you're going to love it. And we decided to hold off to go to the cave because it's like $26 to get in. But it's pretty amazing. There's not. This is one of the best limestone caverns in the country, if not the world. So
can you bring your drone?
You can't bring anything in there. They won't even let you in with a phone.
I like that.
Well, that's the thing is that they are.
You put your phone in the car. Will they make their money by breaking your car while you're in there?
There's a bunch of.
Sorry, can't go out yet. They're not done.
Hold on, airlock's jammed. Hold on.
My watch is telling me my phone's moving. Give me the watch.
Yeah, they're pretty serious about it. But everything I've read about it is like how amazing it is, and that with a credit to them, they in the 80s they trapped this couple. They got permission from the people that owned it, the property, and basically then spent 4 years lobbying the state government out here to try and get some kind of designation as a state park, but at the same time, like having code name for it, not even telling anyone where it's at, right? And then going out to other parks throughout the country to talk to them about what worked and what didn't, and what if they could change anything about the way the park is set up. And so they took 4 years for them to get it going, and it was effort well spent. So
that sounds fantastic.
So there's plenty to do out here.
It's a must. So when's the baseball game start on Sunday? Because
they've already begun. We've had kind of a run-in. There's no concession stands. And the Tucson Saguaros are playing. They're playing actually more games out here than they did last year. And I know during 4th of July weekend, they're playing on Killer Termites Day. So there's an issue though, because they, at first they were like, oh yeah, just go across the street to the convenience store and you can bring whatever you want back in. And of course we can't just go over and get, a tall boy and drink it. We bring over 2 12-packs, and it's obvious that we're drinking beer on school property. So that can be,
they want to have sober baseball
property maintained by the school district. So it's not even on the school, but there's a very strict, it's national that you can't have tobacco, drugs or alcohol on school premises. And that's an arrest. Basically, it's a problem. You call the police for that, right? And, it's kind of, it's Bisbee. It's Sunday baseball. It's whatever. And now, that's not the case. We're kind of being singled out, but we kind of,
what's their plan then? Just have no one come?
I don't know.
Have zero attendance?
Yeah. So I know when Doug gets back, I mean, they had a game on Sunday and we didn't go because, we were just kind of boycotted it, and we'll see what happens. Can
we drink in the park where they do the Saturday market? Because we could start our own baseball game. We got Kenny.
Well,
he plays old timey baseball.
He'll tell us the rules from the 1800s.
See if we can talk the Tucson team to come over and play in the park with us, being they're not busy over at the ballpark.
Yeah, they can come over and get beers with us. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I think you and I are pretty much on the same page here. That, well, what do you want to do? Do you want people to show up, or do you want people not to show up? Because when we show up, we usually bring a group of people with us, and even the concessions was kind of a mess because there's no one. Yeah,
I don't know.
No one's going to do it. They're not doing it. Job and I went in there to try and figure out if we could do it. And then as soon as we got in there was, we're taking this refrigerator out. So anyone who's going to do concessions has to bring in an industrial grade refrigerator. It's like, that's not an industrial grade refrigerator. And that's been here for like the past 4 years. So what? He's like, yeah, this one's not going to be here. So industrial grade has to be here. They're upgrading everything. I go, well, they're upgrading this right out and not being a concession stand. This is going to be, dugout number 2. So I don't know, man. We tried, and then we just said, this is a big flaming turd. We're going to walk away from it.
Yeah. I always told you that my interest is eventually wait till the school board collapses and then buy the ballpark.
Well, the thing is the school board, I don't think they have any interest in it being operated and used the way it is, because they've got their own fish to fry. I mean, they do baseball, they have football out there, and they have a couple other small events, but they use that area as they do commencement out there instead of in the field at the high school.
All right, so I'll lease it to them. For $1. They can do all the things they're currently doing, and we'll run a baseball team while they're done. I agree. But I mean, I will. I like the idea, but especially with the concession stand that's now open till 2 a.m.
Last call.
Yeah.
4 days.
Where the outside, cut out. Yeah. You lift it like a speakeasy. You're like, hey, want a beer?
Yeah, there's a ton of potential, but I mean, maybe you're right. We just have to wait long enough for it to at least someone else with maybe some vision or some I don't know. I guess vision's good to create some kind of money revenue, some revenue stream.
Near future, we're going to have to run for city council. We'll get on the council, and then we'll start changing things. We'll go, we're going to have to cut your funding. You're going to have to come up with the other money somehow. And we'll go, you could always sell the ball field.
Yep. It's a great ball field. They put in a brand new scoreboard, and they tore the other one down. And then they didn't show the Saguaros, who are, they're scheduled to play there all summer. Didn't show them how to turn on or operate the scoreboard. So basically, we're sitting at a ball game, and there's no scoreboard, and the announcers.
I think this is where, in a town this size, this is where you start saying, this is starting to sound like it's owned by communists.
Yeah.
You have against baseball.
Yeah. Or at least letting us know what the score is.
And then we'll bring Cuban team in. Boom.
Yeah. So baseball's up and running, and the Tucson Saguaros, they're part of the Pecos League. If you go to the pecosleague.com, you can check out their schedule for the season. And like I said, I believe they're playing on the 3rd, July 3rd.
I have a Saguaro jersey already.
Yeah, they are selling those. They do have a merch booth. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be a blast. We're very, very excited. We're coming down to kick the nails and do the rest, and then perfect.
Yeah, go to pecosleague.com and check out Tucson Saguaros. The games on Sunday are treated as home games in Bisbee for the Saguaros. All right. Hey, have you heard from John? I didn't hear from him today.
No.
I waited till the last minute before I contacted him to see if he could make the podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't heard from him.
He's back from Vegas, though, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think he was supposed to be back before the weekend.
I mean, it's not like he's missing work. But...
Yeah. Yeah. Who would know?
Yeah.
If he didn't make it back. So what do you got going on up there?
So we are. It's one of those summers, and you'll know this. It's like 50-some degrees today, but it was Saturday was really sunny, and then Sunday was kind of crappy. Monday it rained, and then today it's kind of overcast. Tomorrow it's supposed to be overcast, then a really nice day, then maybe rain, then maybe overcast, then maybe rain. It's like it's very hard to plan anything.
Yeah, kind of up in the air.
Yeah, it's easy though, because it's you got to plan around mowing the yard. We got a huge yard, so I'm like, I got to figure out when to mow, because then I tell Becky, it's wet out. You can't mow when it's wet. Now it's really long. I go, we can't hay bale when it's wet either. But the bees are crazy this year. Tons of bees. Or wasps. I shouldn't say bees.
We have a similar issue out here because of the garden. We've got an area that's very, we've got a bunch of hummingbird feeders out, but now the bees are taking over, and they can't even get to it because there's like a bee guard on the little fake flower that the hummingbird dips his beak in. And
right.
They're just fucking crazy. They're just swarming around it to where the birds won't come by because there's just too many on the one. And the one that they're hitting is the one that has like a little basket over the flower. So they can't get near it, right? It's like a
right,
little
but they
cage.
Can smell it.
Oh yeah.
So they're like,
but the other three feeders right next to it just have the flower. They don't have the bee guard on it. So I don't know what's happening here, but the bees are basically they're upset. They can't. All they want is the one that they absolutely can't get to. It seems. I
think that's a metaphor for life, isn't it, Greg?
Let's look at human nature. So we've got it's getting a little muggy right now. They're telling me that it's going to be an early monsoon season. So that's my next goal is to hook up the 55-gallon drum rain catch barrel. So that's on the. I've never done that. I don't know. There's all sorts of issues with that.
You catch it off the roof?
Yeah.
Is it legal? Because some states it's illegal to catch rainwater.
What?
Yeah, no. California stuff, yeah. No, it's all part of the city, like for the aquifer and stuff. You aren't allowed to retain any water.
So hold on a second.
Isn't it funny you get cited?
A fucking 55-gallon drum that then lets you not use the water from the city wells.
Nope, you don't own it. City owns it.
The city owns the
look
water
it up. It's
out
very
of the sky.
Yeah, because people go to court over it and then they lose, and they're like, "Well, you weren't supposed to be catching the rainwater because and they go, "But it's a drought, and if I catch my own water, then you can't charge me for watering when keeping my grass green." And then they go, "Well, you can't catch the rainwater either." So, but when your house burns down, it's because it was too dry.
Who owns the air?
Yeah, well, remember, you don't own, well, that's the thing. You don't own the air above your house. You don't own, what was the other thing you don't own? Oh, any mineral rights or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and gas. It's so funny when those gas companies come in, they go, well, you don't own the gas under it, but we want to drill in your yard for natural gas out in these big rural areas. And they're like, no, not doing it on my property. So the neighbor goes, I'll do it. They go, $1 million. You go, perfect. Sorry about your drinking water. But the neighbor does it because you're holding it out. It's like, I won't do it. I go, oh, good. Your neighbor did.
Yeah, all they have to do is drill sideways, right? Now
we're just going to put arsenic in the ground. And I mean, it's obvious they're destroying the water system. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure out those earthquakes that are man-made down throughout the entire country. That's the aquifer collapsing. Yeah. That's what purifies water. Yeah, no, you don't understand. I go, yeah, I do. I get it. You're trying to sell us water.
We're getting dangerously
and they're
close
doing it right in front of us.
We're getting dangerously close to political talk.
No, it's not political now because it's survival talk. I mean, we'll be sitting in a goddamn fucking bunker going, yeah, we should talk more politics. Yeah. Hey, Kathy Griffith, how's that working out for you?
Yeah. Wow.
It's so funny. I mean, I'm sorry, but I just, it's like with the Hillary thing. I never liked Hillary that much, and it was hard to go, yeah, what a ripoff. I didn't like her, but you pick your battles. But then with Kathy Griffith, she comes out and does a whiny thing. He's trying to ruin my career. I go, I don't understand.
This is my deal.
You can't claim you're being bullied when you held up a cut off head.
We're talking about D-list celebrity gossip / comedian Kathy Griffin, and I think the problem is she doesn't have anyone in her own stable that would say, whoa, where'd that head come from? Whoa. You know what I mean? No one to go, hey, pull it back a minute. Let's talk offline for a second and go, because it's clear that the photographer pushed for that.
No, I don't.
Because that's what he or she does. Is it they go for something that's outrageous and they get her.
Ann Leibovitz is putting me in milk.
But if it's someone should have said something in her group, and it's kind of it's ironic. It seems like that's the problem with I can't say. With one of our leaders right now is that everyone's afraid to say something because he fucking blows up and then there's no coming back. All of a sudden you're standing out on the street with a banker's box and no job. But she needs someone in her camp who she trusts enough and that they're secure enough that they can go, if you say something about the president and like hurting the president, that's like a felony. Like they take note of everything that's said that they can.
And I don't blame them. I mean, just because he's not civil doesn't mean you don't have to be.
Yes, exactly. And it's ironic.
I mean, your argument was, I want to do anything I want because I'm a comedian. It goes, he's literally doing that now with the presidency. It's amazing.
Yeah.
No one's ever thought of it. Remember, Doug's whole thing was, I'm just going to quit. No call, no show if I'm president.
No call, no show.
Like, yeah, it was fucking brilliant. We joked about it, but this could really happen. He could just go, you know what? I'm done with this. I don't care.
Yeah, you stop paying rent on a house that you're living in. It takes the marshal at least a couple of months to at least serve you, and it's probably a good 4 months until you absolutely have to be kicked out of a house you don't own that you stopped paying rent on. I mean, you could do a no call, no show at the presidency, which is kind of what he's doing. I mean, he basically sits like a teenage girl on Twitter and is watching TV obsessively, stations he doesn't like or stations he likes, probably the ones he doesn't like more, just to see what they're saying. And
the Twitter thing is
he's very disconnected. He's very disconnected with what's really happening. He's just out there.
He's like
drunk trolling almost.
I know, and he doesn't drink, and that's the part that makes it so bizarre.
Yeah.
Because the late night tweets, when it's just like, you can't talk to a world leader through Twitter. He's like, hey, Australia, go fuck yourself. That wouldn't work for Norm Macdonald. But yeah, it's very interesting that we've just evolved in this weird, almost worse than idiocracy. We're now in this gray area where everybody goes, can you believe what he's doing? You go, what's he going to do next?
I did see Idiocracy was on the on cable. It was like they'd already gotten to the Gatorade watering the fields with Gatorade part. So it was in a little ways, and that's such a good movie. That's such a fucking good movie. I know.
I quote it all the time when I'm like in a bank line and the teller can't count.
What's the line?
Oh, electrolytes.
So wait a minute. What you're saying is that you want us to put water on the crops?
Yes.
Water? Like out the toilet?
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be out of the toilet, but yeah, that's the idea. But Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolytes.
Plants like electrolytes. Electrolytes. Good. But yeah, I just, we've got a whole system now that's just broken. Retail's going under. What are you going to do now? Yeah, you used to be the snotty girl at the Gap. What are you going to do now?
Well, I saw a headline yesterday that teenagers aren't working like they used to, summer jobs and, having a job after you turn, 15 or 16. And I thought, well, yeah, because you can get a guy who's 25 who's going to show up every day and doesn't have math homework. I'm surprised that that's only becoming, that's a headline now.
You remember in the turn of the century, we had 14-year-olds working in coal mines. Now you're like 27 before you really focus on, I guess I got to do something. You're out there going, I kind of, it's almost like the millennials they talk about like when George Costanza was looking for a new job.
Yeah.
Well, I do like baseball. Maybe it's a good job with the Yankees.
I like to talk. I like to talk about baseball. Yeah, you're good at that.
Just spitball.
I like to talk on the phone and get orders wrong on pizza toppings. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, you're good at that. You constantly mess up your own food orders. So, maybe you could, fast foods in your future. Oh, can't do it.
It's like every girl that ever tells you, oh, my friends, I'm so important because all my friends, they share their problems with me. I go, I'm a good listener. And I go, no, you're a sucker. It's like, you ever notice you can't get a word in edgewise with these people?
You're a doormat and you think that's a marketable ability. That's not a marketable trait.
You cheated on Kevin? Did you tell anyone? Well, just Sarah. Oh, I told her about it too. She doesn't tell anybody. She can't get a word in.
Yeah, I speaking about movies, not that you don't know this movie, but I wanted to hear John's take on it. I went to go see Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah.
And it was pretty good. It's very good, actually.
For a sequel, everybody said it was.
And
I haven't seen it yet. I wait.
There was there's another cameo from Howard the Duck.
Really?
And I'm like, because Trace is like, no, that's Howard the Duck. And I'm like, with that fucking movie from the 80s? And she's like, yeah, he was in Guardians 1. And I'm like, I guess I remember, but I mean, that movie itself was so hyped. It was going to be such a big thing. It came out. I went back and looked at it. It came out in '86. It was a total flop. But like the Howard the Duck in '86 was this movie that had this person in a suit with a bunch of, puppetry for the eyes and the mouth and stuff like that. But it was this crazy, it was a comic book movie back in '86 about Howard the Duck, which was a Marvel comic back from the '70s. And I wanted to get John's take on it, the millennial take on if anyone even knows about that.
Yeah, see, because I remember the movie being a huge bomb.
Huge.
The
budget was $32 million and it grossed $16 million US.
We have those things that are just triggers like that. Like I was listening to a thing on something about websites or whatever that, betting on the new trend internet, like Snapchat is going to make any money. It can't make any more money. They said there's nothing unique about it. And maybe you shouldn't put your money in something like that. Yeah. He goes, you don't want to be the next pet.com. And I went, nobody even remembers pet.com. Pet.com was the original Howard the Duck. But nobody even knows it. And I was like, yeah, no, that was where everybody went, yeah, let's put money into this sock puppet. And their entire assets were a sock puppet.
Oh, dude, it was. I remember watching the end, and there's a bunch of there's known characters or character actors in that. But what's her name? Leah Thompson. Leah Thompson is the romantic figure with a duck, and then there's the principal, Ed Rooney from Ferris Bueller. Yeah, he's kind of turns into
and child porn. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was another thing we were talking about. I was like, was that true? What came up? It was, that whole thing with God, what's his name? He's Jeffrey Jones is his name, but,
yeah.
What, was that true? That whole thing? I guess I should have.
Yeah, it was true. He plea bargained it and fought and scraped, and I think he got 5 years on an ankle bracelet. Does a lot of home movies.
Yeah.
But it was one of those ones where he was, it was a teenage male prostitute. It goes back to the old Huey Long joke about politics in Louisiana. He goes, the only time you get in trouble in Louisiana in politics is if they find a dead girl or a live boy in your bed. He happened to get a young male prostitute that could talk because he was on meth. That's your fault.
So I don't know if you've got Showtime or you got the Showtime app. But I'm Dyin Up Here just came out on Sunday. I
know, and that was Twitter. And if you follow on Twitter, then they'll give you a free episode.
Okay, yeah. I just saw that Al Madrigal, a friend of ours who he's in it, and he just tweeted that episode 2 is out and available. I don't know if that's with the app or if it's. I know they did a preview. Well, they did the pilot. About a week and a half, 10 days out on, available on YouTube for free, which I thought was genius. But,
no, that's what you need to suck them in. It's one of those ones, and it's so weird you can't own them all. Like I got rid of Hulu because I don't need 2 seasons of anything. And, it's for people who cut their cable, I assume, but I got it and I went, I am paying more than I should for something I never watch.
Yeah.
So I got rid of it.
Well, and there's always a way.
Showtime now.
Yeah. Well, you can get the Showtime app, and then you can use Chromecast to put that up on the TV. So having Chromecast actually gives you an ability to. It's kind of like Apple TV, Roku, Chromecast. There are these ways of streaming media to your TV or to basically with Chromecast. You can put it on a device like an iPad. And those things they're all new and they're all coming out, but sooner or later you get enough of those and it's the cost of what your cable bill would be.
No, and the other thing is no one's taking into account that bandwidth. What they want everybody to do is cut your cable bill, go to strictly streaming, and then they're going to raise streaming to a lot higher than your cable bill ever was, and you'll have no choice.
Or it's going to be that thing where it's just close enough to where you go, well, would there be more options that I would take advantage of on cable? Or do I stick with the streaming? Because right now it's a difference of about $2. But they do that with everything. I mean, they find the break point and they push it just a little bit, and that's called business. That's called capitalism.
Well, yeah, somebody just came out with the one that the Internet by Light, which they've had around, but they said they perfected it.
Are you talking about fiber optics?
No, light optic. It's a beam of light that actually carries the information.
Well, that's what
it goes as fast as
that's what
light.
fiber optics does.
Well, fiber optic does it through a beam. This does it through a light ray.
Okay.
So it doesn't need any optic, which the optic slows it down, just like it would if it was syrup on a window.
Speed of light, though, example. Dude.
But no, it's speed of light. So it shoots it straight in. And they had one, I originally saw it, where they were going to send Wi-Fi like that through a light bulb in your house. You could send it through the light bulb, and you'd have Wi-Fi all over your house through the light. And you know who started that was McLeod out of Iowa. He ran a little tiny phone company, and then he perfected it. They were going to shoot data through lights through the windows of your offices. Then they were worried about security because they could pick it up on the way in.
All right, I've not heard this. I'm gonna have to look at this, Becker. And I'm not gonna fact check because basically we just don't do that around here.
Yeah, no, but I mean it's a fact because I read it. But yeah, it's there's so many new. That's what I said. The world's getting more clunky, and yet it's getting more technical. And they keep telling us robots are going to take all our jobs, and then yet there's 94 million people without jobs.
Yeah,
I think they already took them. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, that is interesting. I heard You know, it's interesting. I got it. Is since January 20th and this president administration, I've realized that there are a lot of people who really know what the fuck is going on in America that are on these TV shows. There's a lot of really smart people out there. We just don't have any of them working in the White House right now, or at least they're not the ones in front of the camera. These are basically ventriloquist acts. And it is interesting in that some of these people are very optimistic, saying, "No, this is good. We get what we wanted as a leader." And it will take many years for some of these things to even happen. Other times, they will be able to change these back as soon as the next administration comes in. But look what's happening. It's a complete clusterfuck. But this is how the market corrects itself.
This is almost worse than the old way they did it, where they gave us like celebrities, we'll say like the Kardashians, and but they shoved them down your throat. They were like on nightly news. The Kardashians opened a restaurant today, and there was an incident where someone dropped a champagne bottle, and that was 15 minutes of the nightly news. You're like, what the fuck? Any word about the 6 people dead in Cambodia? And they go, no, nothing on that. But now we've dumbed it down where they're actually this is real. But like the Paris Accord. So the Paris Accord, he pulls out, right? None of it takes place. I mean, none of it really mattered. Did you read all the loopholes?
Yeah. John,
we weren't even joining for 5 years. He's if he doesn't get reelected, it's not even going to affect him.
John Oliver has a great rant on that on last week's show. I think he's on Showtime or HBO. HBO. It's so good, and he just really puts a fine point on it. And if you can see that on YouTube, check it out. If I can find it, I'll put a link. It is so good, where he talks about how nothing's binding. Basically, if you don't follow your own, basically the Paris Accord is what each country sets up as their own stand, like what they're gonna manage to bring their emissions down to. They do it. You self-police it, and you come up with the goal. And if you don't, it's a process of shaming. There's no, you know what I mean? It's like I don't even think Trump read what the fuck is going on with this thing. He just said, "Hey, I need to do something to get back in the news, or I got to do something to appease the political base."
Right. In other words, change the subject. That's his whole game now, is change the subject. So, like, he's probably got him building a Hindenburg right now to blow it up and start the trial. I mean, oh, my God, for the love of humanity, I told you we'd never do this again. But, it's really weird. And I don't get it. And the Supreme Court, they've been completely quiet on everything. I don't see them. You know, normally they're starting to feed you Supreme Court rulings and stuff. I know it's coming up, but I mean, I always tell people politics is boring, but you know, when they search your glove box and find a gun and then they charge you, and later you go, well, the Supreme Court ruled you weren't allowed to look in there unless I give you permission.
Yeah.
That's why you need to follow the news. That's the only reason. Can I look in your glove box? Not without a warrant.
New loopholes. All
right, go on, but don't come back here. You got it.
All right, let me hit the political bell so we can switch.
Okay, yeah. We're getting ready to, I think we're moving to Bisbee.
Oh, yeah?
Pretty good, yeah.
Well, you've already got a place to stay.
Yeah. We figured, I mean, it's kind of, but it's so weird to get rid of all your weird shit. You know that. I have a lot of weird shit.
Yeah. I just did that same thing. We had some boxes over
we're doing the Chaille plan. We're going to walk. We're going to walk to the airport with 2 bags. So
that's awesome.
No, and I said I'm going to be a minimalist. And Becky goes, "No, you're not." And then that new iPad Pro came out today, and I went, "All right, I'll be a minimalist with an iPad Pro."
Starting after send.
Well, that's what the weird thing is like, you know, I told you we couldn't get our mail forwarded from down up here without some wacky thing. Mm-hmm. And now that we're going to go down there, I go, well, now I got to figure out, like, my mom was filling out her will, and she said, "I need an address for you." And I go, well, can you put 2 down? Yeah. I mean, I don't know what condition she's in, but
yeah,
there's a timeline. I'm gonna get one with a little tram that brings it to the front door.
Or like one of those. Maybe go to one of them banks that goes out of business. You get one of the vacuum tubes.
Whoop. Mail's here. Whoop.
The portable Vietnam wall was here last week or 2 weeks ago, and it was kind of a bust because there were supposed to be like 1,200 bikers in town, and 50 showed up. So it was
50 bikers?
50 bikers, but they were prepped in town here for like 1,200, even more. Like having a special permit for them to all stay in like a field out in the at the high school and stuff. So
at the baseball field?
Yeah, you'd think, right? So
that's what I'm doing with.
Yeah, you don't want us to have beer. But no one showed up, and there's a kind of a scandal as to why all these motorcycle clubs that were expected to be here and had confirmed they were going to be here, all of a sudden didn't show up. So I was checking in the Bisbee Observer. I invite everyone to check out Bisbee Observer. It's online. But and then I noticed there was an article on dilapidated homes in Bisbee, and the problem is these people are not responding to the city and inquiries about the property. They're just ignoring it. And some of these homes,
can we seize the property?
Well, that's the thing is that the city is basically saying, look, we've due diligence. We've tried to get in touch with these people. We're telling everyone in town, these are hazardous homes or structures, and in some cases there's people squatting in them, and in other cases they've just been vacant for so long that they're basically in danger of falling in on themselves or their neighbors, and they're lowering the property values of the neighborhood. So that's a problem. And then all of a sudden, that's in the news now. So I understand why they're doing that. One of them is 3 doors down from you. And I'll snap a picture of it. I'll send it to you later. But when you see this, you're like, oh yeah. But you get so used to driving by it and it being a blight that you don't realize that thing.
Right.
One Block Ben, who comes to the football Sundays here with his wife April, he told me that place, he lived in the place next door to it maybe 10 years ago. He goes, when I lived there, there was no one living there then. It's exactly as it was over 10 years ago.
Why can't they seize the property? Eminent domain. See, we got to get on the council, Ggreg.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like it just got in the paper that this is a problem because there's people that want to buy those properties. There's people that want to fix up those properties. There's people who want to tear them down and start over. But the people who own them aren't even responding to, hey,
are they paying their property taxes?
They must be, because then there'd be some legal recourse. But they're not responding to people. Like the article also had people talking about how there's 3 people. There's like about 15 properties for sure that the city was like, these are it. And they gave all the addresses. I'm like, Black Knob? That's right down the street. And I'm like, oh shit. That's right. And the problem is the people that own them aren't doing anything about them. They're not keeping them up. And they don't have any interest in talking about the properties. They're basically ignoring it.
Well, why can't they just seize the property under the guise it's unsafe? Help or fine them till it's
I don't know.
It's absolved.
Well, I really don't know what it is, but stay tuned. We're gonna we'll put a pin in this one, so to speak.
Yeah, no, that's a great one. That could be our new lounge.
It's a great house too. I mean, if you look past all the 2 RVs on blocks and all the just overgrown shit. But I mean,
but that's on the property.
That's on the property, and that's the problem. Is right next door is the Wheaties moved in, and they've got a bed and breakfast. Oh yeah, not a bed and breakfast. They've got an Airbnb that we use when we've got overflow from here, and it's just too bad because they're putting work into their house, and the person next door hasn't even done anything in over 10 years. So. Bisbee is like that. It's charming enough with the funky houses and stuff like that you forget that there's a lot of old timey, like way out of date construction out here, and we're at that point now where it's starting to get to where you got to do something about it.
I'm coming to Bisbee, Ggreg.
Yeah, right on.
You've got a friend in Jesus.
Yeah.
We'll just go through. We'll find an 1800 law that says we're allowed to just take the house over.
Some loophole.
Be like, I'm sorry. You left an unkept goat for 24 hours. That's the law.
And we slept on the lawn for 2 days straight without drinking water and only eating peanut butter on saltines. It's a weird, obscure law, but that is that's the law.
We gave you 2 pounds of coal. You chose not to take it. Deal's a deal. Read the law. Welcome to our Indian casino.
Yeah.
We had a weird crime again. What are the odds?
Hold on a second. It's almost weekly that you get something that goes national. Did this go national?
This one will probably go national too.
All right. So developing news.
Yeah, this is a good one. This is a guy went to the GCI building, which I didn't know they had a nice big building. But.
GCI is a mobile provider as well as cable out in Alaska.
Yeah, it's our only real cable outlet.
All right.
And they have a no compete, which I've never heard of that. When I came here, I'm like, what do you mean? Well, what they did is in the early days, they said, well, we did all the work. We don't want somebody coming in and buddying up to us. So the state gave them a no compete. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, it's because I remember I was up there when they were just starting to put the cell towers in, and they probably came in and said something to the effect of, well, we're not going to invest in Alaska with this technology and put all the infrastructure in if after we've already made all these inroads, people come in and then they're able to get a contract with the city or to have another provider come in. So they set up a non-compete, probably with 99 years, or probably not that, but they have a certain amount of time where they can't bring in another provider. And it makes sense business-wise because you guys had shit for coverage up there in the early 90s.
Right. So, but the thing is that kept anybody else from a Cox Cable to anybody you want coming up here. So they basically, they just raised their rates and told us we're losing 2 more channels. And I go, well, how are you justifying raising my rates and reducing the number of channels? And they're like, well, go somewhere else.
Yeah,
Sorry,
you can't.
Yeah. So what happened was a guy broke into the building of GCI,
mm-hmm.
and they won't release if he worked. They said he never worked for them, but he broke in and he got in a fight with somebody. He didn't have a knife. They said he didn't have a knife. Anyway, he got in the computer room.
Wait, hold on a second. They say he didn't have a knife?
Yeah, I know. It was a report of a man with a knife, but he had pried open on one of the floors. He got into where the servers are, I guess, for the state, and he shut the internet down basically by trashing the place. When the security guard approached him, he said, "No, I'm work here. I just showed up. I got to fix this mess." And the guy goes, "Oh, well, go ahead then."
So this wasn't like John Travolta in Swordfish, where he's quickly trying to find the codes. He basically just started thrashing around until all the lights went out. The security guard
would have noticed the door had been pried open with a crowbar, but he didn't notice that part. But anyway, the guy took out, but I guess it took out 911 for that. But Anchorage still had 911. But he could have actually taken out 911, which would have been funny because you couldn't have called 911 to report that he was doing it. Maybe the non-emergency number would pick up. But yeah, one guy who's just crazy apparently did all this, and I was like going, are we really that vulnerable that a guy just picks a door and ends up taking out the internet?
Yeah.
So then I called GCI, as you will, to their retention line, and said, well, I would like you to prorate my bill because I just read in the news that it was out for 6 hours. I was sleeping at the time, but
you could that could have been the time that you really needed to get online.
Yeah, and I said, I know, and I was hoping that we could do that. And they said, no, you can't. You don't get that. And I said, well, I'll just go to somewhere else. And they laughed again. It was really weird.
Yeah, as long as it's coming from inside the state, there's really not much they're going to do, right? There's no recourse. There's no competition, and that's the fucking bullshit part of it. No competition, then they can continue to do what they're doing.
No, and that's it. That's the thing was I go, this kid wreaks havoc on the whole thing, and it's like, well, we're going to reduce your channels and your service, and we're hoping we can hire another security guard because I couldn't believe that you could just get in there and do that, but apparently you could.
Or make the locks screwdriver proof.
But this is the second incident. That's what it was, because there was a week before somebody shot a fiber optic cable, and they're being real sketchy. The police, get this, Greg, the police reported there was no reported call of anyone shooting or hitting a fiber optic cable.
So they're trying to claim that for a period of time there was not one
college rape cover up.
there was not one report of a gunfire in a neighborhood. That would be the first night ever in Alaska or in Anchorage that there was not gunfire of some sort.
No, but not this one. They said there was nothing on file that said GCI had a fiber optic cable shot with a weapon that caused it to black out half the city. I think these are underground terrorists.
They're testing the system for some kind of response time. Look, we fired a gun at a fiber optic backbone, and no one reported it. We could do whatever the fuck we want. Hey, grab that screwdriver. Let's go meet over at the GCI building.
Hey, guess who just popped up online?
Who's that?
A young kid named John Norris.
Oh, let's see. We'll bring him in just for the close.
Hello.
Well, you've listened to another episode of Near the Wild. I'm Matt Becker.
I'm John Norris.
And I'm Ggreg Chaille in Bisbee, Arizona. Good night, everybody.
You've been listening to the Near the Wild podcast with Matt Becker, John.
What's up?
Hey, John.
Have you guys... Am I late? I'm a minute early.
Where are you?
I'm on Alaska time.
Yeah.
I got a text from you that said podcasting at 2 today.
2?
Yeah. Oh, I'll screenshot it.
Hold on a second. I think you're right.
Oh, my God.
I gave my time. Yeah, he is right. All right, John. Well, since Becker and I have already done one, we'll get off the call and then you can just do one.
Great.
We'll see how close we get with the outline for today's show that I sent you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, we planned these shows out so carefully. I don't see how it could go wrong.
That is my fault, John. I'm sorry.
I guess I should have checked in. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. Hey.
No, I mean, if somebody sends me a text and says it 2, I believe them.
Yeah. I did say 2, but I was thinking
that's very factual.
That is. It's actually that's my time. I'm actually in Pacific Coast time right now in Bisbee. So, John, how was Vegas?
Vegas was great. It was super fun. So we flew down to Long Beach via JetBlue.
Yes.
Which I have to say, JetBlue usually really great. On the way back, they were kind of stressed out. Our flight was late. All the crew was stressed out. I was trying to pay my tab in the bar, and this JetBlue, like the guy at the gate, like ran into the airport bar in Long Beach and was like yelling my name and telling the restaurant to get me out of there. It was very stressful. Other than that,
so hold on, you stressed out the crew?
Well, the flight was already late. It was going to be like an hour later than we were supposed to take off. So I was just drinking in the bar. We were having some pre-flights, and we were like the last ones to get on the plane, so they were looking for us. And Stephanie went to the gate and told them, "Oh, he was just paying the tab. He's going to be here in a second." And the guy like ran down and was like yelling at our very nice server named Gloria to get there. And I felt bad for her. And it was just a very stressful situation.
So did they clap when you got on the plane like you were heroes?
No, I don't think they do that anymore. No. I think everyone's just mad all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone's getting gun shy to do anything, so to speak.
Yeah,
just
especially on a plane.
Head down. Yeah,
John, you got to remember the tricks. When you get on the plane last, you always go, security held up my prosthetic leg again. You fight for this country, but you can't get through security.
Stolen valor.
The plane should be more like the Karchner Cavern tour. No phones.
No phones.
No phones.
No.
That would quiet down the news reports of bad behavior on planes.
How was the crowd though? Was it because it's a very cheap airline?
Yeah, it's packed. Every flight is just about packed, and I think we somehow ended up being like the last people on the flight for every single plane we had to get on. Probably because we like airport cars.
So this is a chronic issue with you.
Yeah,
and it works perfectly 70% of the time, because somebody like steals your seats, and then you're like, oh, well, I guess we'll just sit in these emergency rows that have more room.
Bulkhead and emergency, those are that's not an upgrade, dude.
And I'm sure other airlines now, they charge extra for the emergency row because there's more room. Which seems shitty to have to pay more for the responsibility of saving your fellow passengers.
Please. There's no binding agreement that you're not going to be the first one to dive out that window and get the fuck out of there.
I'd get out and I'd put the emergency door back.
Yeah. There's only enough food in here for a week for one person in the life raft. You're thinking ahead.
I like it when you're the last one on the plane, you bring food from somewhere.
Oh.
You bring a whole pizza on. You're like, sorry about the wait, people.
Well, they do the personal pizzas.
It was security.
So it's easy for them to do that. I saw a gal get in. First of all, she's sitting in the window seat. So she's like tucked away back there. And she comes in with a styrofoam clamshell container, not one that holds a burger, but one with like the 3 compartments that looks like a Swanson dinner tray. It's got the, yeah. She has gone to the, in the concourse, she picked up a, like Panda Express or something. So now she's on a plane that, 3 hours was the flight. And she basically just took this clamshell of food and then stuck it at her feet under the seat in front of her, right? I'm glad. I'd hate to think that she would think she could put it in the fucking overhead bin, right? Or the cupboard.
Where was she flying to that she had to bring Panda Express that she couldn't get?
Well, this is the thing. Yeah, we certainly weren't.
She knew she was going to land in another airport that probably has a Panda Express.
Well, number 2, John, you always say when they tell you can't put your Panda Express in the overhead, I have a medical condition. They can't.
This is my service chow mein. I have to bring it with me.
It's comfort food. I usually have a red vest that I put on the container, but I forgot it. So she tucked that away, and then now I'm obsessed. I can't fucking take my eyes off of this fucking container thinking, you motherfucker, if you don't eat one bite of that goddamn food, and I swear she picked that up right before they announced the descent into our destination. She only started eating the food when it became completely cold. And at least she grabbed the food and took a couple bites of it, because I'm thinking, what would be the point of getting a hot meal to go? A full thing, a main dish and 2 sides. What would be the point of that? And then just sticking it under your feet unless you're delivering some like Krispy Kreme somewhere. I mean, this was just Panda Express. It's nothing.
Maybe she has some sort of superstition where like you have to bring Chinese food on the flight, and then you have to take 2 bites of orange chicken before you land.
Oh, okay.
Did you ever think, Greg, maybe she just has diabetes and cold feet? It was her foot warmer, Greg.
It's a foot warmer. Shit. Well, she ate her foot warmer. Cold.
Towards the end, yeah.
Oh, that has to be it. So other than that, yeah, we drove. We spent a couple days in LA hanging out with my family, and then we rented a Dodge Charger, and then we muscle carred our way through the desert, through the Mojave to Vegas, and it was super fun. And since we were there like the week, we had booked the downtown Grand, but since we were there on like the Wednesday after Memorial Day, all the hotels were having these crazy deals. So we spent a couple nights at Caesar's Palace for like an incredibly cheap deal for like a suite room, and it was
50 cents.
Yeah, it was like we hung out by the pool. It was packed the whole time. It was really shitty getting seats at the pool.
Found a war medal in the shower.
Yeah, but it looks cool. It looks cool, and it's a nice hotel. But then we went back to the downtown Grand for the last day, and it was way nicer. So everybody just needs to stay. Shitty people need to stay on the Strip, but all the cool people need to stay in downtown Vegas, because that's where the good hotels are.
Sure.
And the pool was laid back, and it was a lot smaller, but it was easy to find seats, and the bar staff was all really nice.
One deck blackjack.
Yep. It was a good time.
Was it unbearably hot at the pool, or did they have misters, or what was going on there? Because it had to be in the 110s, right?
It was like 104, I think, was the hottest day it was, which is still unbearable.
Yeah.
But it wasn't bad. The pool was actually really warm. So we would kind of spend 20 minutes on the chairs and then spend the rest of the time just drinking in the pool. And it was the downtown Grand has like a small pool that only goes to like 4 feet. And so there's plenty of room on like the edge to hang out. And there are misters.
Oh, so you didn't have to wear your floaties if it was only 4 feet, John. Nope. Perfect.
Yeah. My chin was barely above the water,
yeah.
but
look, Stephanie, I'm on my tippy toes. Whee! The last time I was in Vegas with Tracy, we were driving the RV back with Hennigan, who had just been to Burning Man last year, and we stayed for 2 nights. God, where was it? It was down on the Strip. It was exactly that, like the horrible, woo, Vegas, what happens in Vegas stays, that whole fucking nightmare. Yeah. So, but we went to the pool, and I think I talked about this, but it bears repeating that, drinks were expensive, and we got a little bungalow that was equally, really expensive. But at the end of the day, it was fucking worth every penny. Because we had a TV in there, we had a cooler, we had the 3 sides on this little like tent, and the guy kept coming, and I mean we could have brought our own booze down and done some sneaky shit, but at the same time it was very nice. And I found out if you go down there and you rent that down in the morning, you keep it for the entire day until you leave. The money you paid, I mean it was like about almost $300 to get it, but once you get it, it's yours. You've paid that fee. So that's the thing. Is you go down while everyone's still just kind of groggy, getting up and hitting the buffet line. You put one person in there to keep sleeping in the shade in that thing with one Bloody Mary with them, and you got that thing for the rest of the day.
Can you barbecue?
I didn't see that, but that would be fucking great.
Have an open fire in there?
Hibachi.
But I mean, I run a small business, oil change, hair cutting.
I'd rather put maybe a microwave in there. I don't know if I'd want an open pit at 104 degrees.
Ah, burritos.
Yeah. See, there you go.
Yeah, it's expensive to hang out on the Strip. The Strip it's a fun experience, but it's, man, just like price wise, the drinks are like at least $3 more expensive than downtown. Like in places like Caesar's Palace now, any pool seats that are like around, like close to the pool are like $15 each now.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, they're like, oh, okay, I get it, but you don't really have me. There's another casino next door.
Yeah. But I mean, being on the Strip, it's all about being seen and having. I
want to show up to people from Ohio. Because that's what nobody understands. They go, these are all you. They're you. They're the odd duck out going, I want to go have bottle service with a bunch of people from Kentucky.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, this is the thing that I noticed was since we were there for quite an amount of time in the late afternoon, all the lounge chairs that had towels on them that looked like, a pressed body had been laying there for some time. I watched like all around us, there was towels everywhere, and no one ever sat. Rarely anyone came back to sit. So what happens is these people come down early, they snag a lounger, they lay out by the pool for an hour or 2, and then they leave, but they leave their towel there, maybe thinking, I'll leave it here in case I come back. But as I'm looking around, I'm like, God damn it, everything's taken. So then we get the bungalow. And then I notice, like near the end of the day, sun's starting to drop, then the crew comes around and starts grabbing all of these, which is basically just funneled any kind of interest in staying by the pool into a bungalow or standing on the hot cement. And I thought it's brilliant. Why would they go by and grab all these towels? We'll just make a lot more towels so everyone has a towel, but we're not grabbing the ones off the chairs or the loungers because people are basically going to go by and not take that spot, which that's what you do now. You move that towel, put yours down, and if someone comes back, you go, oh, I'm sorry. And then you go find another one.
Yeah. Because you look around and there's like 200 pool chairs that are all reserved.
Yeah.
And there's 3 people in the pool, and you're like, I don't think they're coming back.
Can you bring floaties? Are you allowed to bring floaties?
I don't know what you're allowed to bring because I know they got everything for sale.
I bring one of those inflatable couches and just blow it up and sit on that. Like, yeah, look at me. I'm right next to the towel festival.
Oh, they got one of those where there's an inflatable palm tree that comes up next to the couch. You're set. You got a little shade. You just have to keep moving it as the sun tracks across the sky.
It's inflatable. Who cares? Actually, fill it full of beer and just open it. By the time it's deflated, you're drunk.
Hey, you can't bring that couch in here. Hey, hold on. This is my Camelback. What are you talking couch?
Yeah, driving to Vegas was pretty fun. I haven't done that since I was really young. It was you like go through Baker, and that's where it was like 110 degrees.
Isn't that where they have the big thermometer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so hot, and it's just like one street that's like a Del Taco and a couple other drive-through restaurants. And
what was the famous speed trap? There's a famous speed trap in there.
From Baker to Vegas or from Baker to Palm Springs?
Yeah, to Vegas. Yeah, I mean, right in there. But it's the one where that's all the town does is gives out speeding tickets. And I figured you in a Charger, you'd get one.
Yeah.
I only saw one cop. Like, we were doing 90, 95 the whole time, and only saw one cop as we approached Vegas. But there were some pretty bad accidents. We ended up on the way out there. Google kept telling us, so they kept like moving our arrival time back like half an hour to the point it was like 2.5 hours after we were supposed to get there because there was an accident. So we found this exit off this road, and we took that to try to bypass it, and ended up like that road was just full of deep potholes and it was closed. But there was like us and like 15 other cars that had gone this way. So we all just stopped for a second, and then like one car pulls off into the desert, and then like the whole row, we just like caravanned through the desert, just like, fuck it, it's a rental, let's go. It was exciting. It was nerve-wracking because you're like, well, this is how we get stuck in the desert in a rental car.
At least you had water with you and stuff, right?
Sure, we had a half a bottle of water. We were good.
You're fine. It's 110. What could go wrong?
Absolutely. So that was a lot of fun.
That's cool. But, they got GPS in those rental cars, so they're sitting there watching their laptop going, oh, fuck.
Who round up the tow truck.
Yeah.
No, it was definitely a bunch of people in rental cars who were just like going through the desert now. And you know what? It shaved about 2 hours off of our time to Vegas, so worth it.
Wait, shaved 2 hours?
Yeah, because there was a car accident that had the road.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right.
Completely closed. And I guess, and there was on the way back, there's another one that wasn't as bad, but it was still, like, they still had to land, like, a medic helicopter, and those wrecks out there, like, close up the entire highway.
Yeah, that's Sam Kinison bought it out there.
Really?
Yeah,
he died outside of Needles, which is ironic. He avoided them towards the end.
I'm looking for the speed trap in Vegas, but I'm not seeing it. I'm on speedtraps.org, but it's basically
they went after him. Federally, they went after him because it got to be an epidemic where they just gave you a ticket. They didn't care. They were like, but I was in a car with somebody when they got one, and they literally come out of you can't even see them. They got brush on both sides, and it comes up at a 45-degree angle and lands on the highway, and he's got his lights on right behind you, and you're like, what the fuck was that? Like, you freak out. And then he goes, can I see your lights? You're like, I thought it was an alien. They go, no, just ticket.
Okay, it's saying that they're showing the ones that are in Vegas. They're not showing it on the road. So
yeah,
that's not. But
I mean, they got because it's the only road. So whatever it was, like one of those.
Speedtrap.org if you need to look it up. Very, very extensive. Yeah, you can vote on whether it is a speed trap or not. I like that. So it keeps it up to date. Yeah. Well, John, welcome back.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How's the family? Family's doing good?
Family's great. Everybody's
all right. What happened? Family's great. Family's great.
Not speak with him. He spent a day and a half. What happened?
Yeah, no. Perfect. It's the perfect amount of time to hang out with family. Spent a couple days, came back. It was fun.
Did you end up getting out to Los Angeles, out into the Comedy Store or anything? See Brett Erickson?
I did. We did go to the Comedy Store. I didn't hit up Brett Erickson because we weren't sure what day we were going to go. We ended up going Monday night or Tuesday night, and they had a great lineup. We ended up not being able to go to the original room or the main rooms, but we saw a show in the belly room with some really funny people.
That's the upstairs, really small, intimate room.
Yeah. And it was, I wish I could remember who puts that show on that we went to, but Kyle Kinane performed, and a couple other funny people who I'd never seen before.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a, what was that, Sunday? They had a sold-out main room.
I think they've been sold out a lot. I was talking to one of the security guy at the front, and yeah, they said you gotta book in advance nowadays.
For the belly room?
No, for like the main room and the original room when like Joe Rogan's going up and
Bill Burr.
Yeah, Bill Burr and Tom Papa.
Joey Coco Diaz.
I think David Spade. Spade was up that night.
It looks like the show that you went to see was the Sunsesh LA comedy.
Correct.
Yeah.
That is the one.
So did you stay in LA then?
No, we just hung out. We hit up some restaurants and bars on Sunset and watched the show and then drove back to the burbs. Well,
I do want to say one thing. All this President Trump tweeting and everything. Boy, Bill Cosby is probably pretty stoked about that.
He's really dropped off.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like not even news that he's basically in court right now. It's barely getting. It's on the crawler. That's about it. I mean, every time there's a tweet from Trump, I mean, it's just less attention on this guy finally getting a day in court.
Did you see that restaurant that had the Cosmopolitan or whatever it was? They dropped a pill in it.
Okay, so there's a drink where they drop in like a Tic Tac.
Yeah, they thought this was a good marketing idea. It was a high end place. Yeah, they drop a pill in it, and they thought that'd be hysterical. They made national news with it. Not so hysterical.
And even though if you bought it, the bartender goes, "That gentleman over there bought this for you." And you look and there's no one over at the end of the bar. I'm sorry. No, I might as well drink it.
That's free.
People walk. This is a bar that names drinks after serial rapists, right? It's less fun. It's.
Can I get the Night Stalker margarita?
I did not even know that the Cosby trial was happening, which is surprising because I have the Bill Cosby app on my phone, so I don't know why I didn't get a notification.
There's an app?
Oh, you don't have the Bill Cosby app?
No.
It's like the official Bill Cosby mobile app. It tells you about his upcoming tour dates. If you go to the Bill Cosby, if you go to his website, it just says far from finished, and he's got a menacing look on his face.
He says he wants to go do comedy again as soon as this is all done.
Kathy Griffin will open for him.
When he miraculously gets his eyesight back.
Wait, is he saying he's blind?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Remember when they did the perp walk, he had to have somebody like hold him. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Wow, he's like Justice.
Let's hope.
I hope he doesn't fall asleep during his trial.
Counselor, nudge the defendant.
Sir, this is important.
Next week, actually this week, my Uncle Bill is heading out to Los Angeles, and then he's coming out for a visit here in Bisbee. My Uncle Bill is my birth mom's older brother, and he's an artist. Yeah, he started doing art in Laguna Niguel in California years ago, and he now lives in Idaho, and he's got a studio out there. But I haven't seen him in a couple years, and didn't even meet him until he's 25 or 26, and he's coming to town. So hopefully we can get him on the podcast.
That would be great.
What kind of art?
Sculpture. BillBedfordSculpture.com. Yeah, it was really weird when I first met my birth mom, and then I found out I had this whole extended family. I think I was 28. And then I realized, then I found out Bill, my Uncle Bill, was a sculptor, and they lived down originally in Costa Mesa, and then he was in Laguna forever in the canyon. And then I realized he had art that was in Brea, and it was in one of the complexes I used to work in. He has Brea, California has a thing where they have art on the street, and they have things, like in Seattle where they got the painted pigs. Well, Brea actually has they have sculptures that the city, commissioned in these areas, in business parks and stuff like that. It's really cool. There's three of them in the city that Brea bought that were done by my Uncle Bill, and I had no idea. One of them was in a complex that I worked in.
But there was cool art. I mean, it wasn't like,
oh yeah. You
didn't run the chance of doing the embarrassing. Look at that piece of shit. I hope you never do anything like that.
I'm looking at his website right now, and it's pretty cool sculptures.
Yeah.
I have to question his font choices, but great sculpture.
Well, I don't think internet. I don't think those kind of things are his fort. He did have this one thing I remember when he was just before he was leaving Laguna, where he had a studio forever in the canyon. He was showing me around his shop, and he had this one thing that was really fucking cool. He'd made these heads out of clay, and then he got mad and he smashed one, but he smashed it just enough that it like kind of squared off the head. And then he kind of carefully brought the sides back in to make this like blockhead thing. I go, that's fucking cool. It reminded me like an actual detailed blockhead, like from Gumby. Remember the blockheads?
Right.
Yeah, but it was this thing where and he had like 3 or 4 of them. So he kept making these really cool sculptures and then punching them.
Greg, you aren't going to be alone with this guy, are you?
Oh, he's great. We got some great stories because he's been to 2 of Doug's gigs up in Idaho. And one of them, the last one he went to, he was actually he was sitting in like the 3rd row, and it was at a table, kind of Hofbrauhaus style, where it's like at a bench, like a long table, and everyone's kind of sitting sideways and looking at the stage. And the guy in front of him had been drinking since like 3 or 4 o'clock at this bar, the Neurolux. And Bill was holding the guy up by the back of his jacket because he was slumped over, and he goes, I felt so bad. The guy told me what a fan he was and everything. And then Doug made a comment about Uncle Bill there and everything. And so the guy knew that he knew me or whatever. And so then they kept talking, and he goes, the guy, he was such a big fan, and that he was just slumping over. He was passed out, but I figured if I could just hold him up, he might make it to the end, and he did not. I go, you're a gentleman, Bill, but that's the way we prevent problems.
And then he punched him, and then he put the play around the side of the guy's head.
Yeah, so hopefully I love hanging out with him. It's usually a pretty good drinking weekend.
That's just amazing when you think about it. You go, what do you do? I'm a sculptor. And you go, no, really, what do you do?
Like, but for money, what do you do?
Yeah, what do you do?
Well, that's actually a true thing. Well, for money, what do you do? You're a sculptor. Can you farm?
So you drill wells, you said.
Yeah.
No, I never said that.
Well, it'd be interesting to see what's going on. He's a great guy. He's driving his motorcycle down here, so we should have some fun.
Cool.
So, and he'll be around for a while. I can't believe. I'm pretty sure he's probably been here because it's the kind of free spirit he is. Like Bisbee is an artist community, and it started in the 70s. I can't imagine that he didn't get a wild hair and drive out here from California.
It is amazing how many people have been to Bisbee, Greg.
Oh yeah.
Like, we were having a garage sale there, and we had like 4 people come up. One lady goes, I was there last week. I was like,
yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, well, the Uphills that live, just 2 blocks away from Doug here, they go back every summer to do some work. He works for the railroad uphill, and uphill. But they, they're I don't know, sunbirds.
Yeah, we went and saw them. We went and saw them. They were doing the jewelry thing at.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And Becky bought some stuff from them. So yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a huge connection. There's you'll run downtown, hanging out in Old Bisbee, and there's plenty of people that are from or have been to Alaska. We don't have our Alaska IDs anymore. That was the best way to get to get a conversation going. Just show the ID and it says Alaska. Alaska? Like there's no planes, in the 90s.
You could get
How'd you get down here? Well, I jumped the steamer and then got to a railhead and we just hopped a boxcar.
Have
You still do that there? Yeah.
Have you considered getting the Big Dipper tattooed on your face and instead of an ID?
If I could just get them to go, I see. I want them to color it in, and they won't do that. They'll trace it, but they won't color it in. And I think that would make me black, John.
But it really make that dipper stand out.
Yeah, it sure would. I want that North Star to pop. Actually, the North Star will be my gold tooth. So when I smile,
that would be
that's
great.
when I see the North
Smile and
Star.
go, now you get it? Yeah, I get it.
Short day for you, John. Half day.
I feel like I put in a lot of work though, so.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, we needed it. We needed you to stimulate us with your travel stories.
Mm.
Yeah, you'll have to listen to the podcast though to
Now I gotta catch up.
to see if you can weigh in on any of the Howard the Duck movie.
You gotta start with Howard the Duck?
Oh yeah.
Damn.
We'll save it for next week, John.
Oh, great.
Yeah. This will qualify as research. Damn it.
Is Leia Thompson in? I think Leia Thompson's in that movie, right?
Yes, she is.
I had a huge crush on her.
Oh, see, Becker, I knew it.
Yep.
But that's back. That's when I was like 10 and she was 30. I love her.
Yeah.
Still love her.
She was an older woman.
Yeah.
Still is.
Okay.
You've listened to another episode of Near the Wild. I'm Matt Becker, sitting on a bus in Anchorage, Alaska.
I am John Norris, sitting in exactly 50-degree cooler weather than I was 2 days ago in Anchorage, Alaska.
And I'm Ggreg Chaille in wonderful, muggy Bisbee, Arizona. I got nothing.
You've been listening to the Near the Wild podcast with Matt Becker, John Norris, and Ggreg Chaille. Recorded in Anchorage, Alaska on Matt Becker's backyard bus. Produced and engineered in Bisbee, Arizona by Chaille.
Yeah, just cold tequila is the greatest.